My name is Leo, and I am 20 years old. My adventures had been limited to exploring abandoned buildings on the outskirts of our ancient town, but the basement of the Almao roof house was a different kind of challenge. I had heard the stories about it since childhood, how the family that lived there vanished overnight 40 years ago, and how sounds rise from underground on nights of the full moon. My boldness grew to the point that I decided to face the mystery myself, not to prove my courage to anyone, but to silence that inner voice that mocked everything supernatural. I packed a small backpack, a powerful flashlight, a digital camera, a pocket knife, and a pack of cigarettes. Even though I don't smoke, I thought they might be useful for light or as markers if I got lost. I had no idea that I was entering a world of darkness with the innocence of a fool. The air in the basement was heavy and damp, carrying a distinctive smell, like an abandoned medical research storage room mixed with the scent of wet earth. The stone stairs were eroded, and my steps echoed faintly, dissolving into the darkness. When I reached the bottom, I found myself in a large rectangular room. The beam of my flashlight sliced through the dark like a knife, revealing terrifying details. Crooked wooden shelves, rusty barrels, and spiders that had built their kingdom over decades. But what truly caught my attention was the strange order in one part of the room. In the southern corner, the floor was relatively clean, as if someone regularly swept it. On a small iron table were a dry matchbox, a half-burned candle, and a piece of cloth neatly folded. It was obvious that this place was visited, and not by adventurers like me. I began examining the cold stone walls. Some stones differed from the others in the southern section. After minutes of careful searching, I discovered a small iron protrusion hidden behind a fallen wooden beam. When I pressed it, 3 large stones in the wall moved, not as a single door, but sliding in a circular, mechanically astonishing way, producing a low, grinding sound of stone. The technology was far more advanced than the era of the house. The opening that appeared was square-shaped, and from it emanated the sharp chemical smell in concentrated form, now mixed with something else. Something sweet and rotten, like fermented fruit in a grave. That smell nearly made me vomit, but my curiosity was stronger. I descended the sloping passage, so narrow that my chest almost brushed the walls. After about 25 steps, I reached the second room, and there time froze for me. The room was circular, built with unsettling geometric precision. At its center stood a white metal operating table, yes, white despite all the rot, fixed to the floor. It was equipped with leather restraints at all 4 corners and a drainage basin underneath connected to a plastic pipe leading to a hole in the wall. Along the walls were not ordinary shelves, but glass cabinets lit from within by a dim blue light, powered by batteries. Inside those cabinets were dozens of glass jars arranged with obsessive precision. Some contained preserved organs, eyes wide open, floating in a yellow solution, hands with fingers spread as if begging, tongues cut in different sizes. But the most horrifying sight was on the top shelf. Jars containing human embryos at various stages of development, pickled in a clear liquid. This was not merely a crime scene, it was a personal museum of atrocity. To the right of the table was a small desk with old medical books, scientific journals from the 1970s and 1980s, and a collection of leather-bound notebooks. Above the desk, hanging on the wall, was a black and white photograph of a family. A man, a woman, and 3 children smiling in front of this very house. The man in the photograph was the same one whose eyes would soon meet mine, separated by 40 years of madness. The large metal chest stood in the opposite corner, like a tomb in a satanic temple. When I opened it, I found a complex system of drawers, each containing dozens of small boxes arranged by date. Layla, 1,978 inches, was the first. The last completed box was labeled Rama 2016, but there were 2 new empty boxes marked 2,023 inches and 2024. The last one was especially elegant, covered in black velvet. Inside the Rama box, I found not only a lock of hair, but also a note written in a weak hand. She was a poet. She loved dawn. Her voice was like a nightingale. Now she is with me forever. JM. JM. His initials. The fear I felt now was different. It was cold and deep, the fear of a mind that realizes it is facing an organized, intelligent evil with a philosophy. This was not an ordinary madman. He was a philosopher of death, an artist of preservation. I decided to take undeniable evidence. I pulled out my camera and began photographing everything. The table, the glass cabinets, the jars, the open metal chest, the handwritten note. My photos were quick and shaky but clear under the powerful beam of the flashlight. Then I heard the first sound, a clear mechanical click from above. Then the sound of sliding stone. The secret door closed. That wasn't all. Suddenly the entire room lit up. Not dim lighting, but cold white neon lights fixed to the ceiling. They were powered by a small generator in the corner, its hum low and steady. I was trapped in a well-lit cage designed to display the prey. I heard the breathing before I saw him. It was light and regular, coming from behind one of the glass cabinets. Then he appeared. He didn't look like a monster from the movies. He was a man in his 70s wearing a long white coat like a doctor's, but it was suspiciously clean. His white hair was combed back and his hands, which I could now see clearly, were smooth with neatly trimmed nails. But the eyes, they were pale blue, almost transparent like the eyes of a dead fish. He looked at me not with anger or lust, but with pure scientific curiosity. "You took longer than I expected," he said calmly, cultured. "Most curious ones run at the first smell. But you're different. You continued. That's interesting." I tried to speak, but fear strangled my voice. What are you doing here?" "I'm searching for perfection," he said, taking a step closer, his hands in the pockets of his coat. "The human body is fragile, ugly, and fleeting. But in the moment of death, there is absolute beauty. I preserve that moment." He gestured toward the jars. Each of these women was exceptional, beautiful, talented. And now they are eternal. No disease, no aging, no decay. "You're insane," I whispered. He smiled gently. "They said that about all geniuses. Did you know embalming is an ancient art? The Egyptians mastered it, but they preserved whole bodies. I go further. I keep the essence of beauty, the eyes that saw the world, the hands that touched it, the voices that sang to it." He stepped closer. "And now, I have a new opportunity. A young male. That's rare in my collection. It will be an exciting technical challenge." I noticed movement in the far corner of the room. He wasn't alone. There was someone else, younger, standing in the shadows near the generator. He was wearing ordinary clothes, but hanging from a cord around his neck was a pen like the ones used in lectures at my university. And more than that, I saw his face for a moment under the light. It was Ahmed, the quiet second-year medical student who always sat in the front row, diligently taking notes. "Ahmed!" I shouted in shock. The young man's face shifted from neutrality to panic. I... "Don't worry, my student," the old man said calmly. "This is part of the learning. Observing the procedure up close. You've trained well." "Your partners?" I whispered, realizing the horror. This wasn't just an old serial killer. He was passing on his art. There was a second generation. "The student learns, and the master teaches," the old man said. "Art must not be lost." Suddenly, we heard a voice from above. "Leo, I swear if you're messing with me and hiding, I'll kill you. What is this disgusting place?" It was Yasser. He had come, and his stupidity was saving my life while putting his own at risk. I saw a flash of real annoyance in the old man's eyes for the first time. "Annoying," he murmured. Then he looked at Ahmed. "Come, help me. We must finish this quickly and move the archive." As Ahmed stepped forward hesitantly, I saw my chance. I had my pocket knife. Quickly, I grabbed it, opened it, and pointed it at the old man. "Don't come any closer." Instead of fear, he looked amused. "Brave. That's good. Courage releases interesting hormones at the moment of death." We heard Yasser descending the hidden passage. He was coming. "Leo, where are you? I see light," the old man said to Ahmed. "Deal with the intruder. I'll finish here." But Ahmed hesitated. "Professor, maybe we should leave." The old man's eyes flared with anger for the first time. "You hesitate now? After everything I taught you? Art demands sacrifices." I seized the moment. I lunged toward Ahmed, not to attack him, but to shove him into the old man. They collided, and the confusion caused the old man to fall to the ground. Ahmed stood frozen in shock. "Run!" I screamed at Ahmed. "He's insane! You're not like him." At that moment, Yasser appeared at the entrance of the room. He stopped dead, his eyes widening in terror at the scene. The old man on the floor, the glowing jars, the metal table. "Oh my God! Yasser, call the police, now!" I shouted. But the old man rose with astonishing speed for someone his age. In his hand was a long metal tool, sharp like a needle. "No time for the phone. he said calmly, chillingly. Then he turned his head toward Ahmed. "The traitorous student. Perhaps you should be the next specimen." Then something unexpected happened. Ahmed, who had been hesitant until now, suddenly snapped. "No, enough!" He lunged at the old man, trying to wrest the tool from him. They rolled on the floor in an uneven struggle. "Yasser, help me," I shouted, rushing toward them. I tried to restrain the old man, but his strength was unnatural. He was screaming now. "Art! The art must be preserved." Ahmed managed to knock the tool away, but the old man pulled a small knife from his pocket and stabbed Ahmed in the side. Ahmed screamed in pain. Yasser, who had been standing frozen, finally moved. He grabbed a large glass jar from the shelf and smashed it over the old man's head. A horrific sound of impact, liquid and organic fragments exploding everywhere. The old man collapsed to the floor, unmoving. Ahmed was bleeding, but alive. The silence that followed was the most terrifying sound of all. Then we began.